Hello students of class 10th, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you know that we are revising the syllabus of revision test 1. So today dear students, in this series of revision we are going to discuss the poetic devices used in fire and ice and dust of snow. Okay, already we line by line explanation, uh, we have gone through the line by line explanation. Line by line explanation has been done, and types of questions which are asked in the examination on based of the poems we have also discussed, okay, in yesterday's video. So today we are going to discuss poetic devices used in these poems. Okay, dear students. So before moving ahead, let me write the poem on the board. Both the poems here are written by Robert Frost. The way a crow, the way a crow shook down on me, the way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree, this is the first stanza. Now second stanza. Has given my heart a change of mood, and saved some part of the day I had root of, O should be capital, it is the first word of the line, so it should be capital, of a day I had root. I had root. So as you all are having the book, so actually the poem which I have written covered the whole board, so here I cannot show you the last line. You already are having the book. So I am now going to write the poetic devices used in this poem. You look at these lines. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had root. Okay. So now look at your book, dear students. As the last line you cannot see, let us discuss the poetic devices used in this poem. Okay. So first of all, you can see here. Let us first discuss the rhyme scheme. The way a crow, A, shook down on me, B, the dust of snow, again A, from a hemlock tree, B, A, B, A, B, has given my heart, A change of mood, B, and saved some part, A, of a day I had root, B. Okay, so what is the rhyme scheme of this poem? So rhyming scheme of the poem is A, B, A, B. So let us discuss other poetic devices used in this poem. The next poetic device used in this poem is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of same vowel sound in the nearby words, same letter in the nearby, same not vowel, consonant, same consonant in the nearby words. So here the way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart. So here you can see repetition of H in nearby words in a line, a change of mood, and saved some, repetition of S. Okay, so this is alliteration. So one by one let us write the definition of all the poetic devices with examples from these two poems. First one, as we have discussed, this is alliteration. First one, alliteration. So we know that alliteration is the repetition of some consonant sound. Alliteration is the repetition of some consonant sound in nearby words, in the nearby words. So as for example in this poem we have just discussed, has heart and saved some. So has heart, repetition of H, and saved some. Okay, so this is what alliteration. Okay, so alliteration is the repetition of some consonant sound in the nearby is a one word. Okay, nearby words, has heart, has saved some. Now let us discuss the next poetic device, that is assonance. Assonance, the prominence of a vowel sound throughout the next line, that is called assonance. So what is assonance here? Shook down on me, O sound is prominent here. Okay, so the prominence of a vowel sound throughout a line, is called assonance. Okay, so the prominence of of a vowel sound, it is prominence E. Of a vowel sound, prominence of a vowel sound throughout a line is called throughout a line is called assonance. Okay, for example, if we talk about in this poem, then shook down on me. So dear student, you can see here O sound is prominent. Okay, the vowel sound O is prominence, so that is why assonance. Okay, the prominence of a vowel sound throughout a line is called assonance. The shook down on me, O sound is prominence here, so that is why it is, you can see here O sound is prominent. Okay dear student, now let us discuss the next poetic device of this poem. As of now I am discussing the poetic devices of Dust of Snow. After completing I will discuss Fire and Ice. Next is enjambment. When the same sentence continues to the next line without any punctuation mark. So this is called enjambment. Enjambment. When the same sentence continues, when the same sentence continues to the next line without the use of any punctuation mark, continues to the next line without any punctuation mark, then it is called assonance. Enjambment. It is called enjambment. So dear students, this whole poem is enjambment. As you can see, this starts the way a crow and continues till last, and in the end of the poem you can find the full stop. That is why the whole poem is assonance. Okay, and it has been used throughout the poem. It has been used throughout the, okay, so the whole poem is enjambment. Okay, so when the same sentence continues to the next line without any punctuation mark, it is called enjambment. So it has been used throughout the poem. Okay dear students, you can take the screenshot, or you may pause the video and write down. Now I am going to rub it. Already during line by line explanation I have discussed all the things. Once again I am revising and discussing each and everything, so that you won't face any problem in your examination. Now we are going to discuss the poetic devices used in fire and ice. Okay. Here also, dear students, you can find assonance. I hold with those who favor fire. Look at your book. I hold with those who favor fire. So here O sound is prominence. So that is why it is assonance. I am not going to write the definition once again. First poetic device used here, assonance. Which line? I hold with those who favor fire. I hold with those who favor fire. So here you can see O sound is prominent. Okay. Second poetic device, alliteration. Alliteration. Where is the alliteration? Some say favor fire, some say repetition of consonant sound S, and favor fire, repetition of F, consonant sound F. Okay, dear students. Next is symbolism. Symbolism. So we all know that symbolism is a use of symbols as fire. Here in this poem, fire has been used for uncontrolled desire, unending desire, lust, greed, avarice. So this is what symbol of these things. And ice is used for cruelty, rigidity, insensitivity. So ice stands for these things. So that is why it is symbolism used in the whole poem. Okay. So we haven't written the definition of symbolism in the last poem. So that is why we are going to write the definition of symbolism. Symbolism is a use of symbols. Symbolism is a use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities. To signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings. By giving them symbolic meaning. Symbolic meanings which are different from literal meaning. Okay, different from their literal meaning. Okay, dear students, so here fire is the symbol of desire while ice is the symbol of hatred. Symbolism is a use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings different from their literal meanings. Okay. So in the whole poem, fire stands for desire, and while ice stands for hatred. So this symbolizes uh, desire and hatred. So it is symbolism in the whole poem. So I hope you have taken the screenshot. I am going to rub it. In this poem, fire is the symbol of desire, while ice is the symbol of hatred. Okay, dear students, so these are the poetic devices which have been used in these poems, Fire and Ice and Dust of Snow, written by Robert Frost. So first we discuss the poetic devices used in Fire and Ice, then we discuss the poetic devices used in the sequence should be this way: first Dust of Snow and then Fire and Ice. Dust of snow and fire and ice. Okay, both are written by Robert Frost. Okay, dear students, so we discussed all the poetic devices used in these poems. Okay, so we have discussed each and everything, dear students, as of now. In this revision, during revision, line by line explanation has been done. We also discussed examination type questions, and solved questions are there, unsolved questions are there also for practice in the supporting material which I have shared with you in the group. Now today we discuss the poetic devices. Already chapter 1, A Letter to God, has been discussed. Chapter 2, Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom, also has been discussed. And during revision I am talking about chapter 1, Triumph of Surgery, also has been discussed. And today we have finished these two poems. Okay, yesterday in my last video I discussed letter writing, in which I discussed the the letter which is given in your sample paper. Okay, letter to the civic authorities. Again and again I need to revise all these things because you people are still making mistakes while writing these things, as letter to civic authorities is there in your syllabus. So now you are not supposed to make any mistake regarding the same. Now you are not supposed to make any mistake regarding writing a letter to civic authorities. Civic authorities. Okay. everything has been discussed. Once again I am telling you, dear students, first of all you will have to write sender's address. Like your address is 36 upon 70 E5 15 sorry E5, yes, E5 60D, street number 12, Sonia Vihar, Delhi. If you know the zip code, you must mention here. Okay. So first of all you have to write sender's address. Many times it has been discussed. First of all you have to write sender's address. After writing sender's address, leave a blank line. After writing sender's address, leave a blank line. After leaving blank line, you should write date. It is 16th October, so 16 date in this format, 16 October 2020. Okay, so after writing date, leave one more line, leave one more blank line. Okay, then receiver's address. So who is the receiver here? The civic authority. So to which authority you are writing? As we discussed in yesterday's video, in your sample paper, the letter which is given, you are writing to the SHO of your area. So the SHO, police station, S should be capital, police station Sonia Vihar, okay, New Delhi, New Delhi 110090, 110090. Okay, this is the address. After address, you leave once again, leave a blank line, then write subject. After subject, only colon should be there. You are not supposed to here write here dash or colon and dash, no, or comma, no, only colon. You are supposed to put only colon after subject. Okay, then it comes salutation. In salutation, if you are sure that your receiver is a female, only then write madam. Either in all types of letter write sir. Okay, then salutation sir. After sir, no comma. This is the major mistake which you people are doing. You are putting comma after sir. It is not acceptable at all. Okay. Then whatever your matter, according to that, in the first paragraph you will have to give the introduction. On behalf of in yesterday's video I discussed. Okay, on behalf of the residents of my locality, I would like to draw your kind attention towards the subject mentioned above. You can watch the last video. Each and everything has been mentioned there. Okay, so after that, after body of the letter, in 3 to 4 paragraphs, okay, we have to write the subscription. After thanking you, yours faithfully, sorry, faithfully, whatever the name given in the question, you are supposed to write that name. Don't write your name. All the things in my last video with solved example has been discussed. Please must watch my last video. I have also discussed where we should use sincerely and where we should use sincerely, faithfully and truly. Okay, so all we have discussed in my last video, so please watch that video. So thank you students for watching this video. See you tomorrow with a new topic. So that's all about this video.